We're coming to you from the CoinDesk podcast studio presented by BitGo. Founded in 2013 with the first institutional-grade Bitcoin wallet, BitGo is the gold standard in custody, staking, and settlement. Today, BitGo supports over 800 coins and processes 20% of all Bitcoin transactions by value. Check them out at bitgo.com. Consensus is so fun for me because we get to bring people together from different worlds who are building totally different things in this space. We are going to welcome Rugg to the show. She's the head of digital assets for Citibank. She joins now. Okay, we have Citibank and we have the Metaverse, right? I know a few years ago we saw like some banks doing Metaverse activations. Citibank have any desires to get into a Metaverse and try something out?
You know, we've experimented. We did a simulation of our lobby for clients to come in and use, and so they could touch and feel. I think from a client experience, it's still a little bit far away. Like as we saw when you're in your opening segment, it still has a little bit of bugs that, we move trillions of dollars a day. We can't have those bugs just yet. So, but our clients are interested for everything from client onboarding to experiences, but I think it still has a little bit of way to go from a technology standpoint.
How many people tried it out?
Oh, several. Clients were walking by and loving it. And it's always really amusing watching clients. It's almost like children because they're trying to feel and touch. So I definitely think it has a place, but not quite yet in financial services.
Justin, does it take big names like Citibank to have maybe IRL activations that introduce people to it to help achieve this mainstream adoption that you're thinking about? Does there need to be some kind of cooperation there?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I love to hear that you guys are dabbling and experimenting there. And I think it just kind of comes back to the previous point that, we need really, really high quality experiences. And then we need the hardware and infrastructure to support a really seamless experience as well. But yeah, absolutely agree. I think it takes a lot of big names. It takes big brands to introduce these experiences to their audience and consumers to take, and we'll get more mass adoption that way. So I love that you were trying that out.
Awesome, Justin. Thank you so much for joining the show. Ryan, turning to you now. Citibank is here at Consensus. We've been asking everyone what their experience has been like so far. What's your experience been like from a banking perspective?
It's been great. And I think back to my original Consensus in 2016 in New York. We were at the Marriott, and I think the theme was making it real, or making tokens real. And here we are 8 years later, and finally, I'm at a large enterprise launching Citi Token Services, a commercial product that our clients are using. So it's been a journey to get to this point, and it's great to see all these people here. Last night I sat next to real money allocators. So I feel like we've seen a transition in this space from more of, FinTechs experimenting to more enterprises entering, and it's exciting to be here and see this.
Now, we're speaking of the Metaverse. That's the crypto's effort to turn. That's crypto's effort to create digital worlds. On the other side, we have real-world assets where crypto's taking real estate, treasuries, all these different sorts of assets and putting them on chain, making them more transferable. What is Citibank doing in this sector?
So we started with cash, tokenized deposits, because if you think about it, that's the most simplistic asset. I started with tokenizing everything from mortgages, IP, real estate from my FinTech days. I worked at a startup for 5 years, and then I went to a large GSI. We did everything. But if you can't actually move cash, the fiat on ledger, the actually settlement leg of it, it doesn't really make sense. So that's where we started, and it's an ERC20 token. So in the future, if regulation changes and it is permissible for us to tokenize other assets, we have those rails built out. But we did start with cash, tokenized deposits, and that's, a pain point for our clients, right? You have cutoff times. You have, if it's 5 p.m. in New York, it's 5 a.m. in Singapore, which you typically couldn't move money. Now it's frictionless. Now you can move money 24/7, regardless of bank holidays, cutoff periods, and it really adds a lot of advantages to our clients.
We talked to Kai Sheffield from Visa earlier about what's going on internally. What are the conversations that are happening internally when it comes to experimenting in this industry? Talk to us about that at Citibank. Has your team grown out over the past few years? Has it shrunk? Is there internal tension? What's it like?
Yeah, it's definitely grown. I've been there a year and a half, so a testament to Citibank. They hired on myself, who came from, a technology background, to come in to actually build these platforms. So we've been hiring talent, and we continue to do that. Our strategy is build by partner. We're not going to build everything internally. We're going to partner with some of the best fintechs out there. We're going to invest in them as well. We've been doing that since 2016 and continue to do that. So I think that's, our strategy going forward. I also think that it's a lot of education that goes on, not just internally, but externally. We're a highly regulated institution, and we don't operate in that gray area. So we work very closely with our regulators to make sure that everything we do is safety and soundness of our clients is the focus.
So much of the activity right now in crypto is around stuff that I don't think Citibank will ever touch, like meme coins and joke cryptocurrencies, platforms that allow anyone to make a token in seconds and sell it. There's a lot of bad ideas. Some of those bad ideas are also scams, but all that stuff I don't think Citi would ever touch. But they still exist. How is the presence of those things changing the conversation around how Citi's approaching this? Is it making it more difficult to advocate for cryptocurrency in the ways that Citi knows it to be, useful on a broad scale?
Yeah, right now, from a regulatory standpoint, it's not permissible for us to hold crypto, right? So until that changes, we continue to keep an eye on the market and experiment and work. We have an innovation lab that does great work working with a lot of fintechs out there. But until that regulation changes, and it has to be clear, that gray area, large financial institutions are not going to operate in. And I think, here this week, it's been really positive hearing from a lot of the senators and legislators out there talking about the changes that are coming. But until that is 100% clear, we just won't operate in that area.
We spoke earlier, like I said, with Visa's Kai Sheffield about stablecoins. I know that you spoke on a panel yesterday called When Cash Has to Dash, Fast Payments Through Tokenization and Stablecoins.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about how you're looking at stablecoins, how you're looking to implement that into banking operations as you move forward.
So stablecoins are really interesting. If I think about my career journey and the evolution to where we've gotten in stablecoins, you started out with cryptocurrency, but it was so volatile that it wasn't actually good for payments. And what are stablecoins trying to solve, right? 24/7 frictionless commerce to match kind of like the digital economy that we have, which I think Citi Token Services does a lot of, right? Again, it's only an internal solution right now. We are working with several entities externally looking at how we connect, but to permission change. So it all goes back to, for us, regulation, right? If it's permissible for us to hold and move stablecoins by regulators, then we'll look at that. But if it's gray area, we're not going to do it. But again, we built out these rails that in the future, if it changes, we can potentially be able to do that.
Now, we are here at Consensus. We have been talking to everyone about the things that they are most excited about, what they hope to leave here with. From, I guess, like an institutional perspective, what do you hope to leave here with? I think it would be a little bit different than some of the startups that we speak to.
Well, I always love talking to the startups. Like having worked at a startup for over 5 years, hearing like the best and brightest and what they're trying to work on and do that I could actually bring back to Citi, first and foremost. Like it's really interesting, some of these technologies that are coming out. And like, again, thinking back to 2016 to where we are today, the technology has come a long way, a really long way. So that's really exciting to do. But also talking to the institutional clients. There's a lot of institutional clients here that are interested in what we're doing and like onboarding and like programmable money and talking about the way of the future. And like, we have all these, operation and risk management systems in place. But, if we can automate some of that to streamline for our clients, they're like, wait, I can reduce my operational risk. I can reduce my liquidity buffers. They're like, this is huge. So I think talking to the institutions also and hearing their interests and appetite to, onboard to Citi Token Services has been really exciting also.
What kind of questions are your clients asking about crypto?
Well, it depends what client you're talking about. And from an investment standpoint, I get asked and I'm like, listen, I'm not a financial advisor. I sit on the payment side of Citi. That is not part of my purview about what we're doing, but also about like, what are the future use cases? Where are you seeing this going? To your point, what other real world assets are we going to be able to onboard? Are we going to be able to do autonomous settlement, DVP in the future? Like, where is this all going? Like automated portfolio management, all that is where our institutional clients are focused.
Is the focus right now solely on Ethereum for the payment space, or are you looking at other chains as well?
Oh, we're looking at other chains as well.
What
That's where we started. It's not public. That's where we started. But there's a lot of other chains out there that are advancing from a technology standpoint that are really interesting to us that we're experimenting with also.
Now, this is a bit of an in-the-weeds question, but do you have a perspective on the viability of layer 2 networks? Is that something that Citi's thinking about, whether these networks that are being built to make Ethereum or to iterate on Ethereum have it a little faster, a little cheaper? Is that something that Citi's interested in, or is it more interested in just base layers exclusively, like the Solanas of the world that aren't utilizing more centralizing technologies?
No, we're definitely looking at layers two as well for kind of the efficiencies and scalability of them. But again, for us, a lot of it's going to depend on how regulation shakes out in this space, and like, is it permissible for us to connect to public chains? Because right now it's not. So, you know, all the work that we've done are on private permission versions of Ethereum. But even like connecting externally, like we worked with the Fed on the regulated liability network. Like, we don't want to create a siloed token. That kind of defeats the purpose of a blockchain, right? That's not what we're trying to do. But again, we have to operate within the swim lanes that we have to really create a scalable solution. And if you think about large enterprises like Citi, like safety and soundness of our clients, like, is first and foremost. And unless we can like 100% prove that, we're not going to do that. We have to go through all the KYC, sanction, AML, like nothing that we've built circumvents any of that. If anything, we've added additional scrutiny to it because of its emerging tech to make sure that it's, you know, safe for our clients.
Ryan, thanks so much for joining the set this morning.
Absolutely.
And we hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.